both of these quarterbacks should not be here. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, they were both teammates in Carolina just a few years ago. Baker Mayfield, if we remember, was lining up as scout team defensive end in practice for the Carolina Panthers. Now they've both revitalized their career after they were considered to be a write-off. They've both had great success with their teams. Sam Darnold has had two teams now that he's been successful with the Minnesota Vikings and now the Seattle Seahawks. Baker Mayfield has found his home here in Tampa, and he's the head coach maker down there.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's the past three offensive coordinators, have now gone on to be head coaches somewhere else. So this is a matchup that I'm very excited for. Hello, everyone. My name is David. That is Carlos, and we are the Beardzone Sports Talk, your go-to sports talk for all things football in the state of Florida. So if you are a football fan in the state of Florida, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because this is the podcast for you. We cover it all from college to pros. Carlos, tonight we're going to be talking about the pros. Your team, Miami Dolphins, have a interesting matchup against the Carolina Panthers. And then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be going on the road to Seattle against the 3-1 led Sam Darnold Seahawks. It's going to be very interesting. Do us a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Carlos, let's get into it. Let's go ahead and let's start down there in Miami. Actually, it's going to be in Carolina. Both of our teams are on the road this week. But Carlos, Miami, 1-3. They get a big win against the Jets. They didn't go 0-4. It did come at the sacrifice with the injury with Tyreek Hill. But Darren Waller, all right, man, welcome back to the NFL. And the Carolina Panthers, not looking the greatest, right? They had a big blowout win against the Atlanta Falcons a couple weeks ago, and then they got very humbled against the competitive New England Patriot team. So this is not a team that is who they thought they were. That is for sure. It's definitely a winnable game for Miami. But I almost also feel like that this is kind of a must-win game for Miami because we've talked about it so often in the offseason. Now, as we're, a quarter of the way into the season, man, what does the future look like for the Miami Dolphins if this team doesn't turn things around this year?
It looks like a early first-round draft pick. I swear to God, I don't know what to make of this team. Like, they would be pesky enough as a Dolphins fan. You're almost willing to. I wouldn't say willing. Nobody wants to take on a terrible 3-win season, but also you don't want to take on a 7-9 or 7-10 season, 8-9 season. Then you're not drafting like where you kind of wish you were drafting. But This team's got to find something. My only worry was last week the best that they could play? Is that the best game that they could possibly play? Their third down conversions weren't bad, or is it just the next step in ordering and getting everything together to help them finish, get this season going? That's literally my biggest worry. Like, is that is that going to be our best game? Because they got way too many holes and they're addressing things. Like, you don't address that offensive line in the draft and you go get Kenny Grant, and he's not playing that well. That's the thing. You wouldn't got this guy. He's stud at Michigan, but he is the start of his NFL career is not very good. His rating is low, and he was supposed to be a run stopper. And guess what? He's not doing.
Stopping
the run, and that hurts. That's why teams are running all over us.
Yeah, well, and the Carolina Panthers do have a good running back with Chuba Hubbard back there. Very consistent guy back there in the backfield for Carolina Panthers. You also have a quarterback who can extend plays with his legs. He has two young wide receivers. McMillan, man, he's doing good. He's very consistent. Seems to kind of be the safety valve for Bryce Young. You also have LeGarrette, but I mean, he's just kind of there at this point.
Yeah.
So on the defensive side, though, I don't think that the Panthers have the defense to keep up with the Miami's explosive offense. But like you said, is that the best that they can play last Sunday? Their biggest safety valve last Sunday was honestly Darren Waller, believe it or not. I felt like, I mean, he was kind of the red zone target there for Tua, but it also didn't look like that they moved too far outside
Oh.
of the game plan as far as, hey, Pee Wee football, give it to the fastest guy on the field and hope for the best. I mean, that's what we always say. So
Ooh,
it's is this a must win game though for Miami? Like if they
I,
lose to the Carolina Panthers, I mean, what
man,
does this do for that team?
I think it's for both teams. I think both teams need this win. Like they're this, this puts you at the quarter way mark, and 1-4 is not good. You just got to win 3 more games just to get back to 500, which there's always that stretch of the season that's like murderer's row for everybody. So, but
Uh-huh.
the Dolphins are in that stretch where it's not murderer's row, that they can do what they need to do. The one thing is Carolina's run defense isn't that great. Their pass defense is very respectable. They just don't get to the rusher. But our offensive line's bad. So you saw a little bit of the old McDaniel trick plays last week where Tua was flipping the ball behind his back and doing some stuff. They got to get back to that. They got to get back to that creativeness that we used to see, where Tua's looking one way and he flips it over his shoulder back the other way. Those things. Get those players excited again. And one player they gotta get they need, and they're gonna need to. He's got a big shoes to fill with Tyreek is Malik Washington, but that guy has got speed, and he's young, quick. Um, we've actually seen him play in a preseason game. Malik Washington can play. He's from
Yeah.
USC. He can play, and the Dolphins really need him to step up. I don't know if there's enough there. I think Waller's going to be a great red zone threat for them and a bit of a safety valve, but they've never really used the tight end. It's not really. You saw it though at in the Giant with the 49ers. They used McDaniels used Kittle a lot, so he's never really had that guy that could stay on the field because Gesicki was a pass. He just pass plays only, and I think Gesicki was overrated. So we're going to see. They got to get some guys to step up. They really, really need this one, but they got to figure it out. They got to figure out the defense. They got to figure out something very quickly. But maybe that game, we'll see. We'll see if it was enough to jumpstart them.
Yeah, I mean, both the defenses are towards the bottom of the barrel. Carolina Panthers come in at the number 19th ranked overall defense, where the Dolphins come in as the 22nd as far as yards per game allowed. So, I mean, that's going to be the biggest thing. I think it's going to come down to, honestly, I think it's going to come down to who can stop the run. I mean, who is it going to be? Which running back is going to step up? Is it going to be a chain? Is the chain going to be able to make those explosive plays that they've been kind of missing, as you just said, from that McDaniels offense? Or is it going to be Chuba Hubbard and being able to kind of ground and pound and just wear out that defense? I mean, if you keep the defense on the field for any amount of time, it's hard for those big boys to keep up with it all, especially all the high motors of an NFL offense nowadays. But Carlos, I just said the two running backs. Who do you, from a Miami fan, who do you need to see step up right now in this game? You're 1-3. Your backs are against the wall. Who is going to be? Who's that one player that you're looking at that says, "Hey, this is the time for you to kind of rise and shine to where we need you to play because you haven't been playing up to where we've expected you to."
I don't think it's one particular player. I think it's the D line. That D line on
Okay.
paper, there's really nobody. Here's the other thing with the Dolphins. If you look at some teams, you see players on one side of the ball, and you're like, "The guy, we have to really worry about this guy," or people. And like normally, each team has the Bucs have Vea, then you got Levante David. You have to game plan around those two guys.
Yeah.
The Dolphins don't have that. Like who scares you on the Dolphins defense? Maybe Mika Fitzpatrick, but he's playing safety. That guy's 10
He's
yards back.
secondary.
Yeah. So there's nobody in that front that is scaring anybody anymore. Chubb's kind of tailing off a little bit. I get it. I think he's got 3 sacks on the year. But that D line's got to play, man. Zeller, Grant, Phillips, and Chubb need to figure out. Go to Colorado, get that dog tag that Dion passes out, and put it on your chest and say it with your chest. Like that unit's got to step up, man. They desperately need those guys.
Yeah, I mean the rushing defense for the Dolphins is coming in as I believe it's the man, it's like the like 25th or 26th. They're allowing like 158 yards rushing per game. That's your front four. That's that defensive line because those are the holes that you need to fill. Those are the blocks that you need to eat up so then that way your linebackers can get to the tackles, to kind of close up those gaps. So I'm in agreement with you, man. Like I said, I think it's going to come down to these two running backs. Which running back is going to step up to the plate? Which running back is going to carry this team? Because let's be honest, neither of these quarterbacks we can rely on. I can't rely on Bryce Young. In my opinion, he's still too young. I mean, no pun intended. But, he's in the second year with Dave Canales. He got benched last year. He came back. When he came back, he was different, right?
Yeah.
And then you have the offseason. And it kind of felt like he's trying to find that fire again that he had at the end of last year. Tua, on the other hand, he's just not the guy. Like, I mean, if we go back, who would you rather have on this Miami team right now, Carlos? Would it be Justin Herbert or Tua? It's Justin. You would want Justin. And so I don't trust either one of these quarterbacks. But both of those running backs have shown consistency. Both of those running backs have shown big explosive, abilities. That's who I'm going to be looking at in this Sunday's matchup. Miami is the favorite by 1.5 points. I do think they get the win there in Carolina. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game. Probably like a 24-21 type of game. But Carlos, who do you take? I mean, obviously, you're probably going to take Miami, but
it's a game Miami should win. And the one thing in any sports and playing sports, confidence is a huge thing. So if the Dolphins can pull this victory out and Tua has a better game, confidence is huge, man. You've got one under your belt. Now you got two. You got a banged up 49ers team that's going to be coming to town. You've got some things here. You got the Browns. I mean, and the Browns are moving on to a rookie quarterback with Dylan Gabriel, so we have no idea. That offense is horrendous, but they can run the ball. Jenkins might be an issue. But if they could get those 2 wins and somehow pull an upset over the Chargers, you got the Browns. Next thing you know, you're on a winning streak. And confidence, man, confidence is a big deal, and they need it. And I think what a loss does, it brings the media back in. And it brings them, what now, McDaniels, get rid of them. And it's all this talk that you don't want around. But a win starts to quiet that. And, for a while, Tua was getting pretty hard from even Cam Newton. All people, Cam. You don't play anymore, Cam. There's a reason why you're not there anymore. So they need this win. They need it badly, just for the psyche of the team.
Can I say this? I don't like how Tua approaches all this. Oh, well, why don't you go ahead and bro, he was an MVP of the league. I understand he doesn't play anymore, but it's like, come on. Anytime that guy gets criticized, he immediately goes to, well, you play quarterback in the NFL. See how easy it is. Bro, no one is saying that we can play to your level, but our job is to criticize you. Your job is to play. You just got paid a ton of money to play in the NFL and to play at a high level, but you're not doing that. So there's I feel like that there's just, he can't take any form of criticism. I don't think he can take that. And I don't know why. Maybe it is like a confidence thing. Maybe I'm just being some dumb, naive person, behind the microphone. But it's like, come on, man. I'm tired of seeing that. It's like, yes, of course. There's only 32 quarterbacks in the entire world that can play at this level. 32, and
There's
even
only about
half of
15 that are really good. I mean,
yeah, and
yeah,
only about half of them are really honestly truly like, hey, these are the guys. The other 15 to 16 are fighting for their jobs next year, you know?
yeah,
Like, there's always that next guy up mentality. There's always going to be a next guy, a new quarterback coming into the league that they're going to have to compete against when you're not a high end elite level quarterback. Tua, you're not a high end elite level quarterback. That's just the nature of the game. And to sit there and to say that Cam Newton, it must be easy to click a button and say the guy was in the guy led his team to one of the best seasons that we've ever seen in the National Football League, made it to a Super Bowl, and was an MVP in this league. So I think Cam might have the wiggle room to criticize you. If
yeah.
anybody does, I think it's Cam. So I mean, I just don't like that. I for me, it's like, hey man, take accountability. Like, allow some criticism. Stop getting so defensive. It's a bad look. I feel like,
Yeah,
especially for a quarterback.
it is, and I think it comes from their head coach too. He's kind of, he does his weird, inspirational, weird responses. I don't know what they are. I think he smoked took something before the game, but yeah, I'm gonna take the Dolphins on this one. I'm gonna go. I don't. I'm gonna go with a. Uh, I'm gonna go with a 27-17. I think the defense will play a little bit better. There's not a ton of weapons with the Carolina Panthers. I mean, other than McMillan and Hubbard, but they just gotta control Hubbard. If Bryce Young beats me passing, then oh well, I don't have to tell you.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, put it in the hands of Bryce Young and hope for the best at this
Yeah,
point. So, but Carlos, let's go to the West Coast now. My Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to be battling up against the Seattle Seahawks. Carlos, both of these quarterbacks should not be here. Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, they were both teammates in Carolina just a few years ago. Baker Mayfield, if we remember, was lining up as scout team defensive end in practice for the Carolina Panthers. Now they've both revitalized their career after they were considered to be a write-off. They've both had great success with their teams. Sam Darnold has had two teams now that he's been successful with the Minnesota Vikings and now the Seattle Seahawks. Baker Mayfield has found his home here in Tampa, and he's the head coach maker down there.
yeah.
So I mean, he's the past three coordinators, offensive coordinators, have now gone on to be head coaches somewhere else. So this is a matchup that I'm very excited for, but it's also a matchup that I'm a little bit worried about. Last week when we played against the Philadelphia Eagles, the first half was ugly, man. We came out no energy whatsoever, and then the little that grit came that Tampa has alive there. And the craziest stat that I saw from last week's game was Jalen Hurts did not complete a pass in the entire second half of the game, and they still ended up winning the game. I just think that that's insane. So, but Seattle Seahawks, this defense is not one to just kind of glaze over. Okay,
No,
you
they're
have
playing good.
yeah, you have Mike McDonald now coming in as a second-year head coach from the Baltimore Ravens and has inputted his defense. This defense creates turnovers. I think they have 12 sacks for the year, and we're
Yeah,
only 4 games in. And they have like 7 interceptions or something crazy like that. And I think
no,
like
they're
2 or 3
good.
of them pick sixes. This team is an absolute wrecking crew on the defensive side. And this offense for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Bucky Irving was found in a walking boot. Baker Mayfield has not been a participant this week in practice. So, I mean, that's going to come. Rashad White's going to have to come in. We have Teddy Bridgewater. I trust Teddy Bridgewater as a backup quarterback. But when you have a defense that we're going up against this week, like the Seattle Seahawks, holy crap, that comes for that puts a little worry here in this Tampa fan.
It's crazy that we're talking about the Seahawks defensively. Like, and
Yeah.
watching them play last week and like really, getting in there and watching them, the defense is good. Like
Yes.
it's good. They're Seattle's doing the really, really good things. Even their offense is clicking pretty well. JSN, he's killing. He finally got held under 100 yards, but and we haven't seen Cooper Cup really do much. But there, that at some point that's gonna. I don't think it comes like the old Cup does. That was weird to say, but I think that you're going to start seeing more and more flashes as JSN gets more and more coverage. But Barner, their tight end, is starting to show flashes as well. Charbonnet and Walker seem to be a good tandem on there. But they do, their offensive line is a little. I think the Bucs could take a little bit of advantage there. So it's going to be interesting. That I've been thinking about which way to go with this game. I'm not 100% sure. My injuries for the Bucs kind of worry me a little bit.
Yeah. Well, and something to kind of keep in note, this is something that I also thought of. Clint Kubiak is the offensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks. His previous position was he was a coordinator for the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
So he's familiar with this defense. So he's gonna have to. He's already have experience to go up against these Todd Bowles blitz packages. That's what everyone talks about, because these blitz packages by Todd Bowles, they're so uniquely drawn up that it's so hard for quarterbacks to diagnose where the pressure is going to be coming from. Well, now that Kubiak is with Sam Darnold, he's good at recognizing coverage. He's an experienced quarterback. He's a veteran quarterback. So with that thought process, or with that mindset, and with that experience of Kubiak, coming from the New Orleans Saints, playing up against that Tampa defense, this offense definitely has an advantage in my opinion. Man, it's so hard. I'm gonna pick Tampa. I'm never gonna go against Tampa, but I will say this: I think they're 3.5 underdogs right now, 3.5 point underdogs. I don't blame it. If Baker is out, that's going to be a big blow for us. I think Jamel Dean might be out as well, so that means that. Which honestly, no offense to Jamel Dean, but I mean, I like McCollum a lot better than him. I think McCollum can line up against JSN more productive than Dean could.
Yeah.
So, but then this defense, man, this defense is so good. Our offensive line has not been. I mean, we got Tristan Wirfs back, so it's good to have Graham Barton back in the in the center there with Tristan Wirfs on the outside guarding. But we still are missing Luke Hideki. I don't know if Cody Mock is back. I'm gonna have to check the injury report. Correct me somewhere in the comments.
Yeah, Mock's done back for the year now.
Oh, geez. Okay, yeah. So, I mean,
he's officially done for the year.
Great. So, Mock is out, that's a big blow to the right guard there. And now you have two defensive tackles who are now producing. You have Leonard Williams, the veteran, and then you have Byron Murphy. Remember the hype behind Byron Murphy last year? And then he didn't do anything last year, and now all of a sudden he decided to do something.
Yeah,
he has 2.5 sacks. He's been very disruptive in the passing game and in the running game. This is going to be a very hard game for the Bucs. I mean, we have you said that the Miami Dolphins are not in their murderer's row. The Bucs are now in that murderer's row. Yeah, we are. It doesn't seem like we're getting any healthier. So this game does scare me. I would hate to go on the road and come back home with a 3-2 record. I hope that the creamsicle jerseys does us good, because we are going to be wearing the white creamsicle again. So fun fact: both of these teams came into the league at the same time, so both of them are celebrating their 50th year anniversary. So it's going to be the 50th bowl here, and
here's my thing. Dude. What the Bucs injury report is insane. You got Evans, Bucky Irving, Jamal Dean, Benjamin Morrison now hasn't practiced for 2 days with a hamstring issue. And then you have Eisen also as well, the corner. He's not practicing as well. So the one thing the Bucs do have, that run defense is top 10. They will stop the run.
It is.
And Seattle likes to run the ball. And the good thing with the Bucs, their linebackers are good enough to cover. Levante David with a running back, I feel like Charbonnet and Walker are going to have to catch the ball at the backfield, which are both capable of doing. But I think where Seattle has to attack that defense, and they're going to have to push the ball a little bit. So, but they need to run it a little bit. If they can just average about 3.5 yards a carry, I think that's enough. I don't think they need to rush for 150. I think if they just even rush for 80, 90 and keep it honest, I think that's enough for them to open up the passing game behind those linebackers. So it's going to be interesting. It does worry me. There's just so many, and like you say, if Teddy has to play, I'm not Teddy. Teddy will win you the games you're supposed to win. Teddy's not gonna. He's not gonna. Mister, I still wear gloves on my throwing hands. I don't think he. But it's better that at least there's some hope. It's better than Kyle Trask being back there.
Yeah, I will say this: I don't foresee Baker Mayfield sitting out. I mean, if you can say anything about Baker Mayfield, you want to.
No,
This guy has grit. He's a tough son of a bitch, and give me Tampa. I think it's going to be an absolute dogfight again. We can't get behind, though. We can't do what we did against Philadelphia last week. We've got to be able to execute on special teams. The turnaround was on the special teams, right? It's going to come down to field position and what our special teams can do. I do know that we've brought in a punter this week for some tryouts because man, the Dixon guy that we have right now, I don't know what it is, but his windup is the slowest windup that I've ever seen on a punt. I mean, like the guy's been blocked now twice, and
that's crazy. We were literally talking a few weeks back. When's the last time we see a block punt? Just watch the Bucs game.
Yeah, just watch the Bucs game, and it will be bound to happen. Or you'll get ones that are really close. Now, on the other side, Chase McLaughlin hits a 65-yarder to end the half last week, which was freaking awesome. So, but it's going to come down to the special teams. We didn't see the turnaround last week against the Philadelphia Eagles until our special teams really started to give us some good field position. And then Baker Mayfield was able to take advantage of that with the young talent that he has around him, with Bucky, who might be out, with Emeka Ibuka, who is definitely healthy. And then now that Chris Godwin is in his second game, hopefully we can get a little bit more life there in the passing game. So, and then you also have Tez Johnson, who he's a quick, shifty kind of guy. So, I mean, he can definitely be a big explosive play to really shift the momentum. I think it's going to be a dogfight. I don't think it's going to be easy. I don't know what the weather conditions are for this Sunday. It is in Seattle, so
it's gonna rain.
Chance of rain. I was going to say probably at like 85%. So it's going to be a dogfight, but give me Tampa. Give me Tampa. I think I'm going to take Tampa. I'm going to do 20-14.
How do you feel about? So Bucky's definitely out. I personally think Bucky's out for a while.
Don't say that.
A foot injury for a shifty running back like that is not good. It is just not good. I don't know the severity of it. I just know a guy who comes from a foot injury is not. They're never good.
Yeah, but you're not shifty, man.
I'm not shifty, but this guy's a guy who relies on cutting and
he
stuff.
does.
So, when he's going to want to cut right, he's going to have to put a lot of pressure on that foot. So we'll see how it is. But I'm curious to see how Rachaad White handles a lot more load. I know his average per carry is really high, but what's it look like when, hey, Rachaad, we need you to handle 20 to 22 touches? And now I really feel when the Bucs were at their worst is when Tucker and White were in that backfield, and then for some reason they wanted to go with Tucker, and I just don't like the guy. So, and Rashaad's only got to do it for a couple games. I think Bucky's on. I mean, he'll probably give it a go in a couple weeks, but I'm curious to see how Rachaad White does. I'm curious to see if we get if he continues that, and what if Rachaad has 2 amazing weeks and Bucky comes back? Then what do?
You still roll with Bucky. I think Bucky's earned it. You can't just take that away from him. Just because, I mean, Rashad White, yeah, great. You stepped up, when it was needed the most, but the production that Bucky has shown, the consistency that Bucky has shown, you continue to go with Bucky. Now, I will say this, it will help in situations as far as substitution, right? You want to maybe lessen the load off of Bucky as so then that way he can make a full development. Because at the end of the day, this Tampa team is a playoff team. We want to be healthy at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So if you can take some of the load off of your key guys and have your backup guys step up, if Rashad White can step up, I think he can. We've seen him do it before. It's not like he's a bad back. It's just he's not Bucky. He's not the number one guy. It's been proven. So, but I think Rashad can take the load for a couple of weeks. I don't think that it will hinder anything other than give the Tampa coaches more confidence to say, hey, we can lean on Rashad a little bit more here and allow Bucky to really get healthy so that way when we get to the playoffs, we're a fully healthy team and we can really attack. Because I still believe that this team can make a deep playoff push. We just got to get healthy. These injuries early suck. And now that we're in this stretch of games right now where there's no easy game on the schedule for the next several weeks, I think except for the Saints, that they come up like in like 2 or 3 weeks here.
Yeah.
But outside of that, we have the 49ers, we have the Bills, we have the Rams. It's not easy teams coming up. We have the Lions. It's going to be a rough stretch. We've got to really just kind of hang on, boys. Just hang on for the ride. Let's get through these few weeks, because our last few, like the last 4 to 5 weeks of the schedule, very winnable games,
Yeah.
all the way through. So if we can get healthy and we can start to really shift gears and get on that high and go into the playoffs on that high, look out, man. Tampa Bay can be a team to be a real threat there in the playoffs. So, but I'm excited for it. Let us know down there in the comments section how you guys are feeling. Tampa fans, Miami fans, welcome to the Beardzone Sports Talk. We are your podcast for football coverage, both college and pros. As you can see, I'm a Tampa fan. He's a Miami fan through and through. And then we got coverage up in our Panhandle, Tallahassee for the Seminoles. A big game between Miami Hurricanes and FSU this Saturday.
I'm telling you now, don't text me. I have no phone. I will have no phone. I'm
bummed that you're not gonna. We're gonna talk off camera about that. So, but anyway, let us know or hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, follow us on all of our social medias. The links are down there in the description below. And Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, you can find us here on YouTube. So, but we appreciate you guys, and until Monday.